Nicholas I, Tsar of Russia from 1825 to 1855, casts a long shadow over the history of his nation. Known as the Iron Tsar, his reign was defined by an unyielding commitment to autocratic rule. Ascending the throne amidst the chaos of the Decembrist revolt, Nicholas I dedicated his 30-year reign to upholding the absolute power of the monarchy and suppressing any form of dissent. His rule, characterized by strict censorship, a pervasive secret police, and a rigid social hierarchy, left an indelible mark on Russian society, shaping its political and social landscape for decades to come. Nicholas I's reign coincided with a period of profound change and upheaval across Europe. The French Revolution, with its ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity, had sent shockwaves across the continent, challenging the established order of monarchical rule. In response, many European powers, including Russia, embraced a reactionary stance, seeking to quell any potential threat to their authority. Nicholas I, deeply suspicious of liberal and revolutionary ideas, viewed these movements with fear and contempt, believing them to be dangerous forces that threatened the very fabric of Russian society. The Tsar's worldview was shaped by his upbringing and early experiences. Growing up in the shadow of his elder brother, Alexander I, Nicholas was not initially destined for the throne. His education focused on military matters, instilling in him a deep sense of discipline and order. This military background, coupled with his deeply conservative beliefs, profoundly influenced his approach to governance, leading him to view Russia as a vast military camp in need of strict control and unwavering obedience. His reign marked a departure from the more liberal tendencies of his brother Alexander I's later years. While Alexander had flirted with the idea of limited reforms, Nicholas I firmly rejected any notion of change that could potentially undermine his absolute authority. He believed that Russia's vast size and diverse population necessitated a strong and centralized government capable of maintaining order and stability. Any form of dissent, whether political, social, or intellectual, was seen as a direct threat to the integrity of the empire, and was met with swift and brutal repression. The Decembrist uprising of 1825 cast a long shadow over the reign of Nicholas I. This attempt by reform-minded officers to overthrow the Tsar and establish a constitutional monarchy shaped his view of power and dissent. Though swiftly crushed, the uprising highlighted the fragility of autocratic rule. The Decembrists, inspired by European liberal ideas, sought to modernize Russia. Their demands included a constitution and the abolition of serfdom. They saw Nicholas's accession as a chance for change. However, they misjudged his character. Nicholas reacted with swift and brutal force. The rebellion was put down within a day, but its impact was profound. Nicholas saw the uprising as a betrayal by loyal subjects. He resolved to never allow such a threat again. This led him to establish a vast network of spies and informants. The Decembrist uprising was a turning point in Nicholas I's reign. The Tsar hardened into a staunch autocrat determined to crush any opposition. The memory of the rebellion haunted him, shaping his policies and actions. The failed uprising had a chilling effect on Russian society. The public execution of the Decembrist leaders sent a clear message. This event silenced open calls for reform, pushing dissent underground. To solidify his grip on power and counter the perceived threats of liberalism and revolution, Nicholas I embraced a reactionary ideology known as orthodoxy, autocracy, nationality. Formulated by his Minister of Education, Sergei Uvarov, this doctrine became the guiding principle of Nicholas I's reign, shaping his policies and providing a justification for his autocratic rule. This tripartite ideology aimed to cement the Tsar's authority while simultaneously fostering a sense of national unity and identity. Orthodoxy, the first pillar, emphasized the central role of the Russian Orthodox Church in upholding the Tsar's authority. Nicholas I viewed the Church as a vital instrument of social control and a bulwark against foreign ideas. He actively promoted the Church's influence, granting it significant power over education and censorship, and using it to instill obedience and loyalty to the Tsar among the populace. The Church, in turn, benefited from the Tsar's patronage, solidifying its position as a pillar of the autocratic regime. Autocracy, the second pillar, represented the unquestionable and absolute power of the Tsar. Nicholas I believed that his authority derived from God and that any challenge to his rule was a direct affront to divine order. He rejected any form of representative government or limitations on his power, considering them to be dangerous foreign concepts that threatened the very fabric of Russian society. To maintain his authority, Nicholas I relied on a vast bureaucracy, a powerful military, and a pervasive secret police force. Nationality, the final pillar, sought to promote a sense of Russian national identity based on the principles of orthodoxy and autocracy. This concept of nationality was used to counter the growing influence of Western European ideas and culture, which Nicholas I viewed as a threat to Russian values and traditions. This emphasis on Russian nationalism manifested itself in policies aimed at suppressing non-Russian languages and cultures within the empire, particularly those of Poland and other Western territories. The third section, a vast network of spies and informants, was established by Nicholas I to root out dissent and maintain a tight grip on all aspects of Russian life. This secret police force quickly became a powerful tool of repression, tasked with monitoring the activities of suspected dissidents, censoring publications, and conducting surveillance on anyone deemed a potential threat to the Tsar's authority. The third section's methods were often ruthless, involving arbitrary arrests, torture, and exile to Siberia. The mere presence of such an organization instilled fear among the populace, creating a climate of suspicion and mistrust. People were afraid to speak their minds, knowing that even a casual remark could be reported and lead to severe consequences. Under Nicholas I, the third section expanded its reach, infiltrating all levels of society, from the highest echelons of the nobility to the peasantry. The Tsar's watchdogs were ever vigilant, ensuring that no dissenting voice could gain traction. This pervasive surveillance stifled any potential for organized opposition, effectively silencing critics and reinforcing the Tsar's absolute power. The suppression of dissent under Nicholas I's reign had long-lasting effects on Russian society. It created an atmosphere of fear and compliance where loyalty to the Tsar was paramount and any deviation from the official line was met with harsh punishment. The legacy of the third section's repressive tactics would endure, shaping the nature of Russian governance and the relationship between the state and its citizens for years to come.